And welcome into the Sideline Sports Show with Brice and DC, joined alongside my co-host DC Hendricks. I'm Bryce Vance. We are a part of the Get In Network. You know, there's a lot of great Hoosiers doing some great things, not only in the state, but around the country and around the world as well. From sports to travel to business to state parks, you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Make sure you go over to getindiana.com and you'll be finding our show on there as well. DC, how we doing this Sunday morning, man?
Dude, I'm doing great. A lot of reasons to be excited here in Indiana as a football fan, as a sports fan. We got great guests lined up today. Someone I've been wanting to talk to the second I heard he got this head coaching job. We got Coach Shepard coming up in just moments, who spent a lot of time here in Fort Wayne and in Indiana, of course, before going on to be a big time coach on the national level. So very excited to chop with him. And of course, man, we got the Bishop Dwenger Saints, Class 4A state champions, joining us later on. Got Coach and a few players, senior leaders. So we got a big show lined up. We're going to talk Indiana Hoosiers, of course, NFL playoffs, the Bears winning playoff games, the Chicago Cubs spending money. I don't know what's going on in the sports world, but we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, that's for sure. We're going to get to Coach Jamarcus Shepard, the head coach of the Oregon State Beavers, their football team, and he joins us right now. Coach, thank you so much for joining us, and congrats on getting the job out there in Corvallis. And, just why was right now, the perfect time for you to take a head coaching job? Obviously, you've been an assistant coach, a receivers coach, and working your way up the ranks. Why was it right now the perfect time for you to take it all the way to the top and be a head coach?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me here on the show with you. I couldn't be more proud right now to be on this, knowing that my people back in Fort Wayne, Indiana,
Let's go.
are gonna get a chance to hear me talk about what I believe I'll do with a football program. Just know that everybody back there in Fort Wayne, I'm just trying to make you proud. I really truly am. I think about it all the time and how I want to make the folks back home proud. So I'll keep doing my best to do that. I think that in this day and age right now, where the game of football is so transactional, that we need more transformational leaders out there. And that's the reason why I felt like this was the right time for me to become a head football coach. I mean, there were other opportunities that came up over the course of my career that, maybe I wasn't ready at the time. And so sometimes young people got to realize it's okay. You're not ready sometimes. It's okay not to be ready. There were other times where it wasn't the right fit. So I'll tell young people again: don't chase jobs, okay? Chase responsibility. That's what you chase. The more responsibility you get, the more prepared you'll be for the next opportunity. And then, this particular one, just knowing the history of Oregon State University football, I knew that they had been a tough program. Fort Wayne is tough, okay?
Yeah.
All right. I knew that this had been a winning program. We win in Fort Wayne. We got winners there, okay? All right. And I knew that they needed a spark. They needed someone to ignite this program, and that's exactly who I am. That's exactly who I've always been. And so I was excited about coming here to Oregon State.
Yeah, super exciting stuff. And I definitely I wanted to start there because, I love that you said we win in here in Fort Wayne because, you were somebody that spent some time here. As I mentioned, you played at Northrop, you even got the coach there. I mean, reflect on that, because I don't think a lot of people, people were shocked when we're sharing this on social media. You used to play for Northrop, like, oh, and like some people even, oh yeah, I remember when he played at Northrop. Some people did. So just, describe what Fort Wayne football meant to you, as a youngster coming up before you even got into coaching.
I mean, if they remember, I mean, they must have been avid sports watchers because I didn't even play varsity till my senior year there. So you know what, and that's all right. I just love the competition piece of it. Sports in Fort Wayne were super competitive at that time. Even teams like Elmhurst, who a lot of people don't probably even know about anymore. Harding was one of those places that was hard to go play. Those guys they just had great athletes. But even wrestling at that time, was super competitive. You go down to the state wrestling meet my senior year, and there's so many wrestlers from Snyder, Bishop Dwenger, Bishop Lewis, all down at that state meet, and we all wanted to go down there and show up and show out for Fort Wayne because Indianapolis gets a lot of love, and I got a lot of love for Indianapolis too, but Fort Wayne I felt like didn't get its due. But then in track and field, oh no, we brought great track teams down there to the state finals. I think our women's track team won state, 3 or 4 times in a row or whatever it was. And so, you know what? That competition piece of it is what has brought the best out of me as a coach. I'm a competitor, okay? I compete in everything that I do, every single thing that I do, okay? Or otherwise, guess what? I just won't do it, okay? All right?
That's right.
We getting a hot dog eating competition right now, DC. I'm going to whoop your tail, okay? I'm just telling you that right now, okay? I
You might
compete in all
might
things.
beat me in a hot dog eating contest, but you start talking burgers
Okay.
or wings. Look, you might have a run for your
You
money,
might
coach.
get me then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Might. But you heard that. Might. Okay. Even in that, okay, it's gonna be
Yeah.
a war. Okay. All right. But no, I'm a super competitor.
Yep.
Even in my neighborhood, man, you had to compete, man. Just
Mhm.
growing up, going around Weiser Park,
Mm.
being around the reservoir.
Yep.
People don't even know about the res,
Nope. It's still popping.
and you had to compete every day, and sometimes, you had to compete because it was a tough environment,
Mhm.
I remember showing up at the parks and seeing bullet casings,
Yeah.
there in the park. And so, you know what? Uh, Everything that I went through in Fort Wayne has made me built for this. I'm built for it.
Yeah, I don't know if you've had a chance to check in on the Bruins this past year, but they had a really good year. Yeah. So you know how they had a really good year this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, completely transparently. No, I look at the standings every week.
No,
Okay, every single week,
Ooh.
every single week.
Ooh.
I saw that
all right.
we
Yeah,
beat Snyder. Okay, all
yeah.
right,
Yep.
all right.
Yep.
Needed that victory, and then
Yep.
beat them again. Okay, all right. So just so we're clear, I mean, the last time that happened, I was at Northrop. Okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
actually, we didn't beat them twice that year. We lost. Devon Folks caught a freaking touchdown pass at the end of the game. I mean, just tore our hearts out. And then we got in the playoffs and beat them and made it to the state semifinals. But no, I check every week. Bishop
Nice.
Dwenger, I saw they won the state championship. If I'm not mistaken, Lures
Yep.
got down pretty deep into the playoff run.
Look at that.
And so, no, I pay attention to it all still to this day.
Look at
That's
that.
great.
Coach still following. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
He following just like me, and I'm on the sidelines every Friday. I like that. He knows just
Yeah.
as much as I do.
Hmm.
But I love that you mentioned, and this goes to your competitor in you. You talked about you didn't even play varsity football until your senior year, yet you still played college ball and set a record, or at least was close in a career record. I think you finished receiving yards. I think it was or something at DePaul. I mean, that's got to speak a lot to your competitor in you as well.
Well, again, the game has changed a lot now. If you don't play to your fourth year anywhere now, you're going to transfer, and so that's where our sport has gone. And it's just I really feel bad for these young people, and it's not their fault. I'm not blaming them. So many people want to blame these young people, and it's really a bunch of grown men that got into a room together and they sat down and allowed these rules to be the way that they are. And then when the kids actually adhere to the rules, which we want them to adhere to the rules that we like, when they adhere to those rules, then we get mad about it. No, I'm not mad at you. Okay. All right. I just want to show you that making that decision is maybe not the best in your best interest. But no, I fought it through with all my teammates because I loved being around my guys. There was a lot of pride about being at Northrop High School and trying to make that place the best that we possibly could. And so, no, I never had any thought of going anywhere else. And that's why I still maintain this level of pride that I have for Northrop now. Sometimes I feel like these kids won't belong anywhere anymore once they leave. And so, going to DePaul, I honestly didn't even anticipate playing football going to DePaul. I was going to be a student. I was interested in being a physical
Wow.
therapist. I went there on a full ride academic scholarship, the Eli Lilly scholarship, and you know what? I was interested in making sure that my life was changed through the classroom. And then a coach asked me to play football, and I said, sure. And like I said, I'm a competitor. I don't do anything at a weak level. No, I'm not soft in anything. Okay, so I competed in the classroom. I compete on that football field, and I ended up being a two-time All-American at DePaul University,
Wow.
and broke the school record for kick return yardage. Was one of the highest leading receivers in the history of the school. But you know what? More than anything else, I'm welcomed back at that place because my character and integrity there was always impeccable. I again seeking responsibility. I mentored first year students. Okay, I studied abroad. I did all the things that were necessary to allow me to be in this position that I'm in right now, a position to lead. And I wasn't afraid of going against the grain at times to be able to get there. So DePaul, I owe a ton to that school because it just provided the platform for me to have all those elite experiences.
Man, DC, I don't know about you, but Coach Shepard has me wanting to run through a wall right now.
Look,
I mean, it.
hey, look, it's like 27-year-olds coming back and playing college. So like, look, you got room for 35 and over. Like I'm just saying. Like I played a little LB. I give you a little Sam, a little Will.
You might be a little undersized, but
I
you can
mean,
get
look,
after it.
I will look. He's
Hey
got me
man,
ready to do something I ain't never done before.
the
So
way
look,
things are nowadays, we got kids that are going and playing professional that are coming back and
yeah,
Yeah,
playing. So,
exactly,
so you never
yeah,
know. You
exactly.
never know.
yeah. No,
Yeah, go ahead, Bryce. My bad. I
yeah.
almost cut in on you.
No, you're good, man. Coach, yeah, I just you've mentioned it, the state of things now, and even it's trickled down all the way to the high school level. I mean, I just saw the Indy Star publish that they have a high school portal, tracker that they have on their website, and I'm just thinking, where have we gone? Because I stopped covering high school sports until we brought the podcast back, and I was out of it for a little bit, and just the way that things have even changed the high school level, and it's I think trickled down from college and you're going to be coaching in like the fifth or sixth iteration of the Pac-12, because when you were there at Washington State and Washington, they were different then than what they are now. Obviously, with a whole bunch of new teams coming into the conference this year, just the state of where college sports is at. Obviously you're fired up about it. What are some of your thoughts on how we've kind of press the gas pedal on this thing, and just it feels like everything's changing from year to year and week to week at sometimes.
You know what? These young people have gotten smarter. They have more accessible to them. They have the ability to know and understand if things aren't the way that they want it done. They have a voice now, and so that piece of it is great for them. And sometimes they just have to be careful that the voice that they're using is being used for the right reasons. And so we don't want to ever squash them in their pursuit of trying to learn how to use their voices and who they are to gain an advantage. And so that part of it, I'm in firm belief of. But I think this in this life, there's only really three things that you're guaranteed. Okay, and that's death, taxes, and adversity. Those are the three things you're gonna experience in this life, and so with all these changes and whatnot, it's just an opportunity for us to experience adversity and have a plan for how we're gonna go through this adversity and come out on the other side the right way. So these young people using their voice, they got to know that some
Mhm.
adverse times are going to come. It comes with it, and with 7,000-8,000 kids in the transfer portal right now, there just aren't enough spots for all these young people to go play college football. We got guys on our roster who are in the portal right now who are homeless right now. They don't have a place to go right now, and they're gonna have to drop down a level and go play you know FCS ball or Division II ball. And what's happening is the opportunities for guys like myself, who wasn't highly recruited, if this trickle down effect had been happening back when I was in college and high school, then guess what? The FBS trickles to the FCS, the FCS trickles to the Division 2, and shoot, the Division 2 will trickle down into Division 3, and I may not have had that opportunity to play. You got kids staying in college 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and so I do believe that I think that all the coaches that I talk to going through this portal situation now, I mean, there has to be something done about it to help these young people protect themselves from themselves. And I get it, man. There's money to be earned out here,
Yep.
but y'all know this, and I've learned this back in the day. All money is not good money.
That's right.
So just be careful, and I'm trying to get some advice to them. Just be careful. Have somebody that can really has your best interest at heart. Speak to them and let them help you through this process. And don't be stubborn about money. Money comes and goes. And
That's right.
but what you remember is how you felt when you left the place.
Yep. And a couple quick shout outs because you just led me to my next question, but I want to give a couple quick shout outs. As we're talking high school football, shout out to Northside Legends now. I don't know if I know you remember the Northside Redskins. They're the Legends now.
Redskins.
But Northside Legends
River
football.
Rats, actually.
River
okay?
Rats. The Northside football coach, Ben Johnson, watching the video said, "What's up, Coach Shep?"
Tell Ben I said, what's up, man?
Yeah, Ben chiming in. And of course, our loyal listener, Rick, chiming in. What's up, Rick? That's our guy right there, day one supporter. Wanted to give a couple shout outs there as well. Comment section is open. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and X if you guys want to hop in the comment section. But you talked about the portal and how crazy it is these days. And you being an Indiana native, I'm sure you're watching the Hoosiers and what they've done under Signetti and this new thing they're doing. Hopefully one day we get a matchup between y'all two. But I know as a coach, you're looking at what they've done with their program, going up against the Oregon who had multiple 5-star recruits while IU has none. I think at this point it's almost, I don't want to say, stars are meaningless, but I think, for a coach like you, watching what Indiana's done gives you a lot of hope, taking over a program at Oregon State.
It's definitely inspiring just to watch Coach do what he's doing. There's hope to think that I'm following kind of in his footsteps because he did coach receivers at Alabama too. So you know what? Hey, I'm following in those footsteps. But that I heard a coach. It was Coach Campbell, I believe, who's now the head football coach at Penn State. That he has a 5-star culture versus a bunch of 5 stars, and that's what it's going to take nowadays. How can you absorb the young people into your program that you're going to absorb and still be able to maintain, sustain, and build upon the culture that you currently have in your program? And so the problem is sometimes it's not clearly defined, and you have to clearly define what that culture is so that the young people all around you know it, but then also are capable of teaching it and pushing the envelope for the new people that are coming into the program. It has to be so deeply entrenched. It has to be so deeply seated in who our program is that it does not matter who comes in, they will be absorbed into the culture versus being absorbed into, the finances and the fact that they're trying to get playing time. Yeah, all that stuff's important. Don't get me wrong, but the cultural piece, it's more important than ever before. And so I do see that with Coach Signetti. He's done an outstanding job. Shout out to him. And good luck in the national championship. That's a big time opportunity for them. And I'll definitely be trying to peek at it when I'm not trying to make sure I maintain my own roster.
Yeah, that's true. Who are some of your biggest coaching influences, over the past, 10, 15 years? Obviously, you've coached under some really good coaches, Coach Brom, Coach DeBoer. What were some of the coaching influences? What have you taken away from them that you can implement now that you're a head coach?
You know what? I mean, it really starts with Coach Willie Taggart.
Mm,
He's the one that gave me an opportunity, guys. I spent 6 years trying to get into coaching, guys. I was working for the NCAA downtown Indianapolis. I ended up working for a drug testing company and being a part of the NFL's drug testing company for 4 years, all the while trying to get into coaching. And Coach Taggart, you know what, he took a chance on me and gave me an opportunity. And so definitely, I've taken that approach as well. You know, take a chance on some guys. You know, give them an opportunity. Some of them will play above their pay grade, and some coaches will coach above their pay grade. And again, it's all about how much are they seeking responsibility. And so I sought responsibility, and so I take that away from Coach Taggart now, but also took the run game. I mean, we were elite in the run game. I mean, he helped me really learn the run game. And so then Bobby Petrino, dude, you know, Coach Petrino, he came in and he didn't keep anybody really on the staff with the exception of myself. And again, I thank him for that, for giving me that opportunity. And you know what? He taught me how to really confront and demand what you want out of your players. Some people are afraid of the idea of confrontation, and so, but confrontation doesn't always have to be negative. You know, confront the things that you want and demand that it be done the way that you want it done. And so, but he also taught me how to evaluate the quarterback. You know, that was my introduction into how do you really truly evaluate the quarterback position. And then Jeff Brom, oh my goodness, loved Coach Brom. Shout out to Coach Brom. You know, he promoted me in every way that you possibly can. He took me from being a QC to being a receiver coach, from being a receiver coach to being a co-special teams coordinator, eventually made me the pass game coordinator, co-offensive coordinator. The only thing he didn't do was promote me over his own brother. So I can't be mad about that. I can't be mad about that.
Yeah.
So, man, nothing but love for that guy. I mean,
Mhm.
love Coach Braun to death. And, you know, he really taught me the game, the offense, and how to see it from a different lens and play the game and call the game from a quarterback's lens, and not be afraid to implement new things, be innovative in how you approach the game. Don't just be stagnant as a football coach. And then you get to Mike Leach, the late great Mike Leach. Oh man, Mike, love him to death, man. He showed me and my family a tremendous amount of love and support coming out there. He's somebody that I'll tell you what, he was hard on these guys. He was tough on them, and but he was very simple in terms of how he approached the game. Everybody talks about that little card he had that he called the game on, and it really was that simple. And being simple can be complex because the other team has to figure out a way to compete against you when you know it better than they do. And so, Coach. Man, Coach Leach, man, rest in peace. Love him to death and appreciate him for all his contributions to me and my family. And then last but not least, you know, Coach Kalen DeBoer. Honestly, I can say the complexity that I had with Coach Brom and the simplicity that I had with Leach kind of all came together into what we did at Washington, Alabama under Coach DeBoer. And you know, I'll give a shout out to Coach Grubb too. You know, just those two men right now there helped me really put it all together and say this is what I want the offense to look like. You know, and but you know, Coach DeBoer, it's okay to be a good person. You know, you get all these coaches that are hard nosed, and yeah, you got to be that way at times and tough on kids, but uh, you can lead with love. You can love these guys, and guess what? That'll push your football team further than you believe it is. Than actually just yelling at them all the time. So that's what we'll do in this program. We'll lead with love because most of these kids don't care what you know until they know that you care. And so I care about my players. I always have. Obviously, I care about Fort Wayne. I told you I'm still watching. You know, look, guys, I even still look up the wrestling brackets. Okay, all right. I still look those up because I want to know what
Mhm.
happened in wrestling. And so
Yeah.
you lead with love by showing people that you care.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and we just had Team State this past weekend. So I don't know if you want to check those out, but I know we had a couple local teams do really well down there for Team State. Want to get you out of here on this, and I know a lot of Purdue fans miss you as well. Just to let you know, I had some people. I told some people in my life that were having you on the show, and they're like, "Miss Coach Shep. He was great. He was great at Purdue." But I want to, you've coached a lot of really good receivers in your time in coaching. So I just want to hit you with some rapid fire. First name that comes to mind, who is the best route runner?
Rondell Moore.
Who had the best hands?
Roma Doomsday. Oh no, David Bell. I'm sorry.
Oh,
David Bell.
oh. Okay.
David Bell.
You're gonna hear it from some of these guys
I
later
know
on.
they're gonna get mad at me. I'm gonna get phone calls about this.
Who was the best at catching in traffic?
Oh, that was Roma Doomsday. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. For sure.
And then who was the fastest?
I mean, Rondell Moore.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
of course.
now I'll tell you what. True speed. If you're calculating true speed, it'd have to be Ryan Williams. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
10-4, 100-meter guy.
Yeah.
And then a kid who most people don't know about, but you're gonna come to know him and have a house note and whole name. Latsier Brooks. He's still there at Alabama. I mean, he falls out of bed fast. I mean, he's that fast. Okay, but. But I mean, shoot, Rondell ran a 4.29 in the
I was gonna say
40.
Rondell was
I
fast.
mean, it's hard. I mean, it's a hard one to answer for sure.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
Man.
real quick before we get out of here, we got our guest's father who's coming up, Lucas Guillen of Dwinger, his dad. I don't know if you can see the comment, Coach. He said, "I stood and taught Matt Stinson at Northup and worked alongside Sherwood Haydock at Harding Woodland. I understand the pride Coach Shepard has in our area."
Well, no, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
It won't ever change. Again, I started this by saying I'm trying to make Fort Wayne proud. That's why I don't do some of the things that I've seen some of these other coaches do to shed a negative light on, my name first and foremost, my my hometown, my family, the university that I work for. But I've been blessed and highly favored. Jesus is number one in my life, and so I follow His lead in all things that I do. So that's where that pride comes from.
Yeah, Coach, we appreciate you coming on this morning. I know it's early on the West Coast over there, and I could talk to you for days. You mentioned Coach Leach, and I could talk to you for an hour just on Coach Leach because I've heard so
If
many
we were in
stories.
Oregon, man, he'd be a weekly guest easily. Like,
and I imagine you have a whole bunch of Coach Leach stories because there's a ton of great ones that you hear through other coaches as well. There's tons of stuff that we could talk to you about, but we appreciate you and hope to have you on again sometime soon because we will definitely be cheering on the Beavers this year, and we hope to hear that chainsaw raring to go.
I already started. Hey, Brice, and for both of y'all, I've already started a dynasty and to NCAA 26 with Jamarcus Shepard as my coach.
Let's go
dynasty. I'm already rolling, man. I'm hitting the transfer portal. I'm hitting the ground running, baby. I'm already beavered out, so I'm cheering for you too, Coach.
Well, I hope to get a chainsaw sent that direction sometime.
Hey,
nice black and orange one, okay?
Let's go.
All right. Heck yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Coach, thank you so much for your time and good luck.
Thank you guys so much. All right, and thank you, and go Bees.
Right. That is Coach Jamarcus Shepard joining us here on the show, on the Sideline Sports Show with Brice and DC. Man, we had a lot of people commenting in. As you mentioned, Scott Nguyen, chiming in, asking questions. I know Coach Johnson had a question for him. And we took up so much of his time. I feel like he's busy. He's recruiting out there in the transfer portal, and we didn't even get a chance to mention that they picked up a quarterback in the transfer portal this morning. A guy, Braden Atkinson. Braden Atkinson. He just signed with Oregon State this morning. He was the Jerry Rice Award winner in FCS. That's the best freshman in college football at the FCS level. They just picked him up this morning. We didn't even get the chance to ask him about that. But if the Beavs have success this year, you can credit a little bit, just a little bit, the Sideline Sports Show because we give Coach a bump here.
Dude,
Sideline Sports Show bump.
that has to go down as one of my favorite college coach interviews. I know it's a lot different when they're from your hometown, so you just feel,
Yeah.
it's different. But I mean, you got to remember, like we've talked to. Well, I know working with Brett Rump on his show, we've had Brom, Tom Allen. We've had basketball coaches, Mike Bray, Archie Miller, Tom Crean. But I like Coach Shepard's energy, bro. Like that energy is infectious. Like he had me ready to play some football, bro. I ain't played football in 17 years. And he had me ready to put the pads back on, man. That was some good stuff. Hey, and this show, look, it feels so great to be back. But honestly, without people like you, Rick, it wouldn't be able to happen, man. You're a day one listener, day one supporter. So we're glad to be back and glad to have you back. But it's time, Brice. I mean, we got to talk Hoosiers, bro, before we get to our next guest a little bit.
Yeah. Our next guest will be the like a quartet from Bishop Dwenger. We got 3 seniors and head coach Jason Garrett coming on. We'll probably play that closer to 12 o'clock for you guys, and but we need to get to the Hoosiers, like you said, DC. We'll get to Bishop Dwenger on here in a little bit. And stay tuned for that interview. It was a lot of insight on their state championship run. But yeah, Hoosiers. I was at a buddy's house the other night watching the game, and it just like you're just in awe. You're like, the game starts the way it does, and you're thinking it's over. When you look at the crowd that showed up, when it feels like it's an IU home game in Atlanta, and then you start the game with a pick six, D'Angelo Pons. It's unfortunate that he's probably going to go like midway through the NFL draft because the dude is just an absolute
about 4th,
dog.
5th round.
Yeah, just because of his size. He's 5'9", 180 pounds, and probably not even like 150 pounds, probably dripping wet. Like it's incredible to see the tenacity that dude plays with, and it just spreads throughout the team. And you've seen a lot of now that Indiana's in the national championship game, a lot of discourse online, which is a lot of it's just garbage over the way that they're talking about the Hoosiers. If you're not an IU fan, come on,
like
am I not?
There's still haters of the Hoosiers at this point.
I think it's turning. It's turning now that if you're and maybe I see it because I'm like a Notre Dame fan. And IU, like, football has always been like my secondary team because I'm an IU basketball fan, and I saw Rick his comment and talk about IU basketball losing yesterday. We're not going to talk about that. No, we don't need to talk about that at all. They screwed that game away after being up by 16 in the second half. But never mind. I'm not going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the Indiana football team. The football team is a whole lot better to talk about right now than the basketball team. But what were your thoughts just watching that game? Because I was just sitting back like, man, I can't believe this is happening after this team was 3-9 2 years ago.
So as you know, Brice, and a lot of our listeners know, I am the complete opposite of a bandwagon fan. In fact, it's going to take a lot for you to convince me with a program like Indiana's had football for the past century. Okay. It's gonna take a little bit more to convince me. All right.
Yeah.
So let's be honest. So with that being said, I had to multitask, bro. I had to multitask because I was out covering high school basketball. I was at the Southside Homestead boys basketball game, SAC battle. But luckily, hey, shout out to Southside though for having computers and stuff set up on the side. I didn't have to miss the IU game either. They had the IU game up over there, so I was watching the IU game and covering Southside at the same time. So
why didn't they move it? Like why didn't they move the game? Every other basketball game in the state moved their time. Either they pushed the game up or they moved it to Thursday. Why didn't they?
That game is too big to move, Brice. That game more than likely decided who's winning the conference. Like, look,
that's fair. That's fair.
We can't look. We're gonna leave it. We'll set up some stuff on the side. You all have phones at this point. It's 2026. Everybody has a cell phone, a streaming device. Get on your phone, check the game, do what you got to do. I was glad too because it was a great basketball game, but also a good football game to start off until it was already over at halftime. So wasn't a whole lot to watch. But I think when it comes to this Hoosiers team, Brice, and I said this was my first reaction after that game because there's no way I look at Miami and think they can beat this team. I'm sorry. Like I'm not trying to like ruin the championship game or anything like that, but I look at these two teams, and Miami struggled to beat an Ole Miss team that I think IU would beat, like they just beat Oregon.
Yeah.
Just to be completely honest, and I
Yeah.
think we need to have the discussion that if this Indiana Hoosiers team runs the table like they are capable of, I think we need to start talking best college football team of all time. I don't think that's too crazy to say.
No.
A lot of people have recency bias and say, "Oh, 2023 Michigan," or the LSU team with Joe Burrow and Jefferson and company, and it's like this IU team would beat them. There and a lot of these teams that ran the table previously were good on one side of the ball. And I think that's what set this IU team as, in their own category. Where, like, example, like the LSU team was all offense. Like they just scored a bunch. They just outscored their opponents.
Yeah.
Right. People will bring up. I think it was 0-1 Miami Hurricanes with Ed Reed in them. It was the defense.
Yeah.
Offense. Who was it? Ken Dorsey at quarterback. Are we kidding?
Yeah, but they were stacked other places.
Bro,
It was
Dorsey.
I know he's the
Ken
quarterback,
Dorsey.
but you look at the receivers. I think was Greg Olson on that team. I think Clinton
was on there.
Portis, Andre Ward. Like I'm listing Hall of Famers here in the. So yes, Ken Dorsey is your
Ken
quarterback.
Okay.
Yes.
Against
No, but
Heisman
I agree
winning. Who won the Heisman that year?
I don't even know who won the Heisman.
Not them. Yeah. Heisman winning quarterback Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall draft pick Fernando Mendoza, who's going to change the Las Vegas Raiders franchise around. All right, I'm going too far. But yeah, in terms of the IU Hoosiers football team, I think if they won the table, I think they really do need to be considered as the greatest college football team of all time. And I think it's just because it's both sides of the ball. It's not just Mendoza, it's the defense as well. They completely overpower and destroy their opponents. So I don't think that's too crazy. I know people are chiming in on YouTube and Facebook and X, but I don't think it's too crazy, Brice. It takes a while to convince me, but I think this Hoosiers team has convinced me that I think it was the Oregon game for me, man. Oregon's a good team, and we talked about it last week. It's tough to beat a team twice, especially a team as good as Oregon, and they completely the game wasn't even close. I mean, they might as well have been playing a D2 team. Like it was that overmatched.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, and I'm not there yet with the greatest of all time team. I'm trending in that direction for sure. If they go out and destroy Miami, beat them by say 3 touchdowns, yeah, because just look at the run that they've been on going back to the Big Ten championship game. Beating Ohio State, who everybody thought was number 2 coming in, and Miami beat them obviously soundly in that game, and then you go and destroy Alabama, who has been the team of the 21st century, and then you take down a team like Oregon, who thought it was probably going to be their best chance. My thought going in is like this might be the national championship game, because I don't have a whole lot of trust in Miami and in Carson Beck, and I feel like that their philosophy is just sometimes it can come up short and just be way too conservative if they get a lead. Now luckily that game was entertaining and it went back and forth. And I think that was obviously one of the best games of the playoffs so far. I'm hoping we get a game like that next Monday, and I'm glad we get to talk about it a little bit more previewing it. And I think it should be, I hope it's a good game, but it just feels like the way the IU's playing that they're just going to go out and destroy them, because that's what they've done to everybody, save for Ohio State, who's not on the other sideline come next Monday.
Yeah. And we're talking about, a quarterback in Mendoza who, I keep bringing him up, but like in that game against Oregon, a college football semifinal, right? A chance to go to the national championship. You make program history. He throws more touchdown passes than incompletions. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Literally 5 touchdown passes, no picks, only 3 incompletions in the entire game in the semifinal. Yeah. And Miami's defense is a little better than Oregon's, but how much better? Like, how much better is it really? It's not that much better. I
No.
think that Miami struggled against Ole Miss, and I would quite frankly, and this is neither here nor there, Miami Ole Miss play again. I think Ole Miss wins. So
Maybe. I mean, if Keywan Lacey's healthy, I think
mhm,
it's a different game because he pulled up and pulled his hamstring. He had come back in the game after that big long run, that big touchdown run. But if he's like fully healthy, maybe that's a different story. I think and we'll talk about IU Miami at length next week. We'll probably try
mhm.
to have some IU guests on and stuff like that who have boots on the ground in Miami. Next week. But I definitely think that, man, it's gonna come down to, can they control Miami's pass rush?
Yep.
Can they hold back Mesidor and Bain? I don't think their secondary, is beat up, and plus they're missing one of their top corners because of a targeting call. He'll miss the first half in the championship game. So, and when you're going up against a receiving core that is just seems like they're open all the time, and Mendoza doesn't have to fit balls in tight windows, right now it just feels like that they're running free, and it's ridiculous. I'm excited for next week's game, and I think that Indiana will be able to slow down Miami's running game, for sure. That's what they're going to have to do, and put it all on Carson Beck. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the comment section is open, streaming live on YouTube and X. Sideline Sports Show. Search us up on YouTube and subscribe for sure. And of course, that's the way you can be involved in the show. We're streaming live on X and Facebook as well.
mhm.
And yeah, after we talk to Bishop Dwinger's football team, we got to talk some NFL playoffs, Brice. And I guess I'll let you mention Chicago Cubs at least once. I guess.
We can just mention it here. They signed Alex Bregman. That's it.
Woo!
I'm excited about it, and they also picked up a starting pitcher this past week. But
Mm.
there's your a bet from the old days. There's your 42 seconds of baseball right there.
More like 12 seconds of baseball.
Well, it's the off season, we
That's
don't
true.
need to get too in depth.
Yep.
Yeah, it should be exciting. So, yeah, we talked to Bishop Dwenger football team, a couple of their seniors, and Coach Garrett this past week, and it's a really good conversation. We talked to him for a good chunk of time, getting all the details from the state championship run. How does this team compare to past state championships? Because this is the second one for Coach Garrett. But all three of the seniors that joined us, they remember those days. They were in middle school. They've come up through the pipeline. And, I know a lot of people in our chat are waiting to hear that interview. So let's get to the Bishop Dwenger Saints after their, championship run this past year. Now we're bringing on some state champs. We got the 2025 Class 4A state championship team in the house, Bishop Dwenger Saints. We got 4 members of that team, including Coach Jason Garrett. And then we got 3 of his star seniors that were on the team for the state run as well. Boys, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Name's Houston Ellinger. I play safety and running back.
Luke Snowayne, kicker and punter.
Andrew Tryon, left tackle and nose guard.
So thank you guys for being on here. We appreciate it. And congrats. It has probably been said a lot to you guys, but congrats on a huge run in a state championship. I know it was, probably a long road for you guys after, the last couple of seasons that you guys have been through. But I'll just direct this first one at Houston. For you guys, what does bringing a state title back up to the 260 mean for you and your team?
It means everything to us. We all watched them do it in 2015 and 2018. And ever since then, we've heard about it since the 2018 team. And to be able to be, that team that really did it, it's like it's the best feeling in the world. And I mean, everyone here knows that how hard we've worked. I mean, out there every day in the summer, 6 a.m., just working. And it's been our dream since our freshman year, since middle school. And then to go through the grind our sophomore, junior year, playing some power, Moeller, Brownsburg, And finally this year we all kind of got together and we're like, this is our opportunity. We're going to do it, and we're going to work our tails off to really get it done, and we did.
Yeah, just to add to that, with you guys being the senior leaders, I want to go to Lucas here with this question because, you've been getting a lot of accolades, after the season. You've been named the MVP, I know, from our buddy over at OutsideTheHuddle.net. And just recap your year, too, from your perspective. How did it feel for you to recap, your senior season winning a state championship for you?
I mean, yeah, it was awesome. Like Houston said, it's everything we've been working for 4 years, and it is awesome to get all these rewards. But at the end of the day, it's just everyone doing this job. Like, I did my job, and everyone else did their job. So I feel like it's more of a team effort.
Andrew, for you, I kind of want to piggyback off of something that Houston said. And you guys were in middle school, maybe younger, when those first two championships that you guys saw in 2015 and 18. What from those teams do you remember that that you found similarities to this year's team? Was there something that those teams had that you guys were able to use and instill for this run this year?
We had another big old line like 2015 and 2018, and we were just dominant all year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which was led by you. You're going. I think you're going to Eastern Michigan, correct? To play college football.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being the leader of this line, describe your guys on the line. What made you, other than just being gigantic, what made you guys be set apart from the rest of your competition all year?
We were faster than most people probably, and we were just stronger. We just wanted it more. I mean, the whole line was all seniors besides our guard, so we just had all that experience from past years, and then we helped Moga start a new little path.
Coach, I kind of want to ask a similar question to you as well. What is it about, this group? Obviously, there's, a lot of times you see in high school sports, you're like, oh, when we get this class and then they move on, through the years and then they finally, become seniors like these three gentlemen have here. And you had a lot of seniors on this year's team that, were very, big contributors. Was this class kind of like lining up to like, oh, we could make a deep run if we stick together and train the right way and develop the right way, and that this class could be something special? Coach, you're muted.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people have talked about that. We had some coaches that, made a point to say that they stuck around in particular for this class. Obviously, God blessed many of them with great football talent, skills and abilities. Three guys here, so well-spoken and high character guys. A lot of the intangibles, I mean, how hard they worked, it goes without saying. When they're willing to put in the time and the effort and the sacrifices, and they're close. Our tagline: trust, unity, and toughness. And I think they would all say they trust each other. They're very unified, and then they're tough, not only physically but the mental toughness that they've had to endure, especially the last 2 years. Knowing that the process was very, very challenging, and for a reason. We chose Brownsburg and Moeller for a reason. And it was a lot of people, it was hard to understand that path, but these guys were starters down there at Moeller, Brownsburg, and we've been in those environments, 2 sectional championships that didn't go our way, and Andrew said it there at the end. Towards the end of the season, the huddle before we broke away to practice and at the games was simply we just wanted more, and that starts with these guys. The players took it over and, took us all on a great ride through the postseason, and we finished it. And I think the play that finished it speaks to who these guys are. Obviously the interception in the end zone, but the fake field goal, just the fearlessness and also just the commitment and dedication that they were all in it for each other. And whenever you got that with a group of high school guys, great things happen. And we were able to bring home the championship because of it.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is I got to talk about the play. I think it's called the Assassin. And this is open to everyone. Just walk me through, and I got obviously I got the story up at Indiana Prep. So Coach Gary, you're going to have to kind of do the same thing for me as you did for that article. But just recap me and, put me in the huddle with you guys before that play is called. And this is open to players too. You guys can jump in, but just what was the vibe like before you guys make this crazy call? Was there any hesitation at all? What was going through your guys' mind before this play happened?
Go ahead,
I mean,
Lucas.
oh yeah, Lucas. You
I mean, from my perspective, yeah, like Coach Ellinger getting ready to call it on that 4th down. Obviously, we were gonna run it before they ran the timeout, and then, yeah, they ended up calling that timeout, and then we kind of just got ready for it more. We were still sticking with it. I mean, honestly, the timeout did help, like just ease some tension, and then like we told Tommy, that was kind of like an audible if they were holding like too many guys back or something like that, but we ended up running it, and yeah, just ended up working out.
Any colleges come to you with any quarterback offers after that throw?
I wish.
No, but so after the play happens, and this could be for any of you guys as well, emotions had to be running through after that play, because I know it was a big play on the defensive end as well that helped secure the victory in that state championship. But that play was the scoring points that helped you guys get that championship. So what were the emotions after you hit AJ for that touchdown?
Well, I was on the sideline, and then all of us. I mean, whenever I heard they called the play, the word kind of started to spread on the sideline. We're sitting there like, "Oh, here it goes, here it goes." And then when it worked, I just threw my hands on my head, and I just couldn't believe it. And then I just turned and looked at the crowd with my hands on my head, and everyone was doing the exact same thing. It was just like a "what just happened" moment.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I think what
I was shocked. I was shocked because I was waiting for Tommy to call the audible because they were calling fake. They were calling the fake out, but we still ran it.
Yeah, I think what maybe some people don't is that even guys after you guys score on the game winner, what it's called because that was the clinching deal. But you guys still had 9 minutes on the clock to defend, and maybe not a lot of people because they just see game winner on that play when it's posted out, and it's obviously crazy. But man, you guys still had to be crazy after that, but then you guys had to come back and focus for another 9 minutes. What's kind of like the process there as you guys still had to defend, and obviously it comes down to the final play, where you guys get the pick in the end zone.
Well, I think that kind of goes to what we've been through with our sophomore junior year. Like we'd gotten beaten up by some big teams, and then we had still a chip on our shoulder, and having an awesome play like that didn't take that away. So we just kind of came together and we're like, let's go, like let's finish this deal. And then another thing, Lucas had a punt down and pinned him at like the 5-yard line, so that was huge for us. Not only the throw, but he had a huge punt after that.
So, Coach, I know I'm sure you the players know as well. Like, I was keeping tally of how many times I covered you guys this year on the sidelines, and you guys definitely had the lead of how many times I was covering you guys on the sideline. But I want to go back to week 1. You did end up getting a rematch with this team and got revenge. But after week 1, I host a Saturday morning show on 1380 as well. So we get these text messages all writing off Bishop Dwinger after week 1. Dwinger program not what it used to be. You know how people are, all those haters out there. But after week 1, what was the mindset for you coaches? What were you guys thinking? A 3-0 loss in week 1, and you guys were able to, get it together throughout the rest of the season. But take me back to after that week 1. How were you guys feeling? What were some adjustments made as you changed the season around after that?
Well, when I go back to week 1, the most vivid memory is they had a little weight room for us in the facility where we, got ready and changed and showered before we head back. And we always have our little team meeting and prayer and things before we break loose and reload the buses. And I think the guys that say this too. I think we all had a sense that we might see those guys again, and there were things that went our way and some things that didn't go our way. And arguably, you'd say Ron Colley said the same thing. And, we kind of made a pact at that point that, we intended to give ourselves an opportunity to meet those guys again, at the end of the season. And so that was kind of in our back pocket as we left there, that was the intention. And, these guys don't flinch. I mean, to Houston's point, the whole purpose of the process and the most challenging, if you watch, different ratings of strength of schedule, for the last 2 years prior, we were in that top 5 of strength of schedule. And there's a purpose for that. And to your point, all the haters don't understand that. And so about mid-season, there were some sweatshirts made, Saints versus everybody. And I think when you put on the gold helmet or you put on the coaching hat at Bishop Winger, you understand that there's expectations and standards, but people kind of sometimes forget the process that leads to championships. And so, we all knew what we had. These guys knew how good they were. They knew how close they were. They know the talent that we had. And so that trust, unity, and toughness, right, week in and week out. I think the Carroll game, spoke to the resiliency and the toughness, and the skill level, blessed to play great defense and hold that team to 6 points. And then, with Lucas's leg, and that was a school record at the moment, the 52-yarder. Then he broke it again make it a 54-yard. I think that was a big turning point. And then, as with any season, you had some adversity at Northrop. We kind of let up there at the end. We really didn't play our best, and that was an eye-opening moment for the players, for the coaches, and we had some moments there. We had some coaching meetings. We had some things, because then everything escalated even more. Everybody against the Winger, right? It escalated to a point that it hadn't been at for quite a while. And then we go from there. Lures, big win. Snyder. Then we wrapped up this, senior night, and then we get the draw, right? And the draw was everything that we thought it would be, going through the section that we go through. And these guys, I saw it in their eyes. I mean, we talked about it. I saw it in their eyes early on that it was go time, and it was kind of a no-nonsense, business-like atmosphere for that 6-week postseason run. And to Houston's point, even the last 9 minutes, these guys were not going to be denied. And they understood what we all felt, and it wasn't really pressure. It's just what you have to embrace. You embrace the adversity, you embrace the standards, you embrace the criticism. All that matters is who and what's in the locker room, and everybody got to see what we had, and we finished it, and everybody loves us now.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's hopping on the bandwagon now. Jump in real quick, Brice, because he already kind of transitioned into my next question, so I want to stay there. Yeah. But I wanted to get the players' perspective, because I've talked to Garrett like 20 times this season, so like it's nice to actually have the player. So he brought up the Northrop game, and so a lot of what you said, I was at a lot of those games, so I was there to see the emotions on the players' faces after the Northrop loss and watching that. And then I want to get the players' perspective. What was going through your guys' mind after that, because you guys didn't lose a game after that. And I remember too talking to you guys after the Southside game when you won the SAC, and literally talked to all of you guys separately, and you all told me the exact same thing. I don't know if you guys were together when I happened to ask you this question, but you guys either rehearsed it and already knew what you were responding. But I asked you guys about that winning the SAC, and you all said, it's great, but we want more. That's cool. SAC is cool, but we're wanting more. And you guys, like, it just felt like you already knew, like, state championship or bust. So, like, talk to me the mindset after that Northrop game and just the rest of the season. What was going through your guys' minds?
Right after the Northrop game, we kind of just the Carroll game was a huge win for us. I mean, we hadn't beat them in a while. They're a good 6A team. And that was like kind of a moment when people started to believe what we'd been saying. And so then I think maybe our hats got a little high after that, and we didn't stay as focused as we were. And then that's when that dip kind of happened at Northrop. And then, we showed we can be beat. So we need to stay focused and play like we can. And when we did that, that's why we didn't lose another game. Because after we took that loss, we never wanted to feel that feeling again.
Was that the
Yeah.
same for you, Lucas and Andrew? Kind of the same thing? Just like, I'm not, that's it. That's the last game we're losing this season. How was that for you guys after Northrop?
Yeah, I was kind of the same for me. I mean, like that was probably my first like performance where it's like kind of shaky. I had that missed field goals, my first missed field goal of the season, and then that last kickoff that let them get like that 80-yard kickoff return that was brutal. So I kind of like was just disappointed in the team as a whole, but I knew that I had stuff to work on too. So I just knew that we had to turn things around, and like the Carroll win wasn't like the end of the season, like because I felt like amazing after beat Carroll, but then after that Northrop loss, like I realized that we still have more to do. It's not just Carroll.
Yeah, I was
Go ahead,
just
bro.
more angry after the Northrop game. Uh, I was just trying to do
You're
everything I
ready to
could
hurt
out there,
somebody.
but wasn't good enough.
Yeah, Andrew was ready to hurt
Yeah.
somebody after that game.
But then we all just locked in. The whole line just locked in after that, and our average percents, like our grade percentage, like 90s after that, and then we just kept doing our thing.
Yeah, I think for me, and I want to ask you, each individually outside of the state championship game, what was the most memorable part on this playoff run for you guys? Is there any moment that kind of stood out? Because that class 4A 19 number 19 sectional is always super competitive. You have, East Noble, you have Leo, you have Columbia City, who's also, formidable team from time to time, and they have the really good years, and they were pretty tough this year. It's always a competitive sectional, every single round that you go through. So for outside of the state title game, because obviously it's filled with a ton of moments and memories, outside of that game, what kind of stands out for each of you individually?
I'd probably say winning the sectional championship, because that was a hump we couldn't get over for what felt like forever. And so after beating East Noble, who had just went to state and they were undefeated, like they're a great team, and everyone's talking up East Noble. I mean, they'd had the history the last few years, and we just stayed quiet, kept our heads down, and just like a train, just went right through. And so we that was probably the best feeling, because it was like it felt like taking that next step that you couldn't get past. And so, other than state, I'd probably say that was the best feeling. Just after that win, we all were just so excited. But then, we got back to work.
Yeah, for me, it's close to the same thing. I say East Noble. That's probably one of the best games that we played in our career. That was awesome. And then just that whole span from like after East Noble, I was just really excited that we finally got past sectional. So like I think I remember it was either the first practice after East Noble or the first practice after Lebanon. I was like it was snowing, like it was so cold, but like it was awesome to finally be able to experience that after going out that week the past 2 years.
My favorite game was probably Lebanon, because we traveled up there and it was mainly just us versus that whole city, and we just stuck together and beat them out.
Yeah, I like that. I like Andrew's demeanor. He's just like, look, it's us versus everybody. I'm ready. I like Andrew, man. He's tough. I used to be a lineman too back in my day, so I had kind of that same chip, man. We just built different. So
Yeah.
So I want to start with Coach, and then I want to go through the guys. So obviously we have 3 seniors here, but obviously these seniors weren't the only part of this championship winning team. I know AJ was scheduled to join us as well. I know he has wrestling, so he's here. Dougie Henry, definitely a name that I've had to write about all throughout this year. There's so many guys. Henry Jordan, who, like we talked after, I think it was the Homestead game, and you're like, this kid's still in single digit starts and is still putting it together, and he put it together at the right time, and he really hit that switch. But for guys that aren't here, for people to be aware, name some other guys that were really, from your coaching perspective, who were monumental to this state run.
Well, the list is long. We'll start with where you ended there, Henry Jordan. You can't say enough, and to be the man on the stage there and play his best game in the state championship says everything, And you talk about somebody who, day in and day out was committed, worked his tail off. He, coming off his injury, he was throwing. they had to shut him down a little bit in the spring because he was doing too much. And, just the heart of a lion. And you watch the film, the kid's always smiling. We had a conversation mid-season. I said, I love your smile, but there's time to go now. Like you can smile, manage the game. We had one of those conversations, and just so happy for him. AJ Shefferly, gosh, didn't play a defensive snap his junior year. People don't realize that. And then, Gus goes down. I'll speak about him in a minute. So AJ and Ellie kind of take over the backfield, and yet he's still on the defensive side like Ellie, and just carrying the load. And a big part of his on the offensive side is the blocking. The unsung hero. And just as Providence would have it, he's the one catching the pass, from Lucas to score that touchdown. So, AJ and all he did, ends up being All-State. You come back from all conference voting, and I always have kind of the same spiel, like this really doesn't matter a whole lot. We got bigger plans, and AJ wasn't even on close to being not even honorable mention, and then has the season he has, and the leadership there, and Gus Pittman, people don't know all the details of that story. That's a book and a movie in itself. Last play of the Carroll game, he has 172 yards. I think he lost 2 yards on the last carry. Just got tackled there as we were running the clock out, and his foot's hurting him a little bit. Next thing you know, he's got a broken foot, and he decides to go a little bit non-traditional route to get it healed up. And back to the East Noble game that the guys mentioned, we got him in there. He gets a first down on one carry, scores a touchdown on the other carry, and then arguably had his best game at the state game. Just a miracle. With that, Tryon mentioned our offensive line. Next to Andrew, you got Morris, and then Diepenbrock not only playing center, but snapping. And then Noah Weimer at the other tackle. Arguably the most improved player on our team over the last couple of years. Physical, lock down the backside of the tackle. Nick Tittman, came in. We ran a lot more attached tight end the last 2 years. This year was a little bit less attached, although we packaged it at the end and did a great job. And if you watch that fake field goal play, his heady play to not get a clip at the 5-yard line, and just kind of nudge that guy was a huge play. Kind of an unsung hero there. And then we're blessed to have Beckham Russell running the slot, and with the RPO that we were running this year, he's now second in career for catches in a season, and broke a record, and came out of last year where he remembers trying. These guys remember, there were 2 playoff games we didn't throw the ball once. Didn't throw the ball once. When we were trying to make up for pieces that we had missing, just to get through and give ourselves a chance. And on off, and then defensively, gosh, Gunnar McCarthy running nose at times and being a train wrecker in there. And obviously we mentioned AJ, and Doug Henry, you mentioned, sets a school record for tackles in a season and for a career. Nationally recruited as a rugby player. So we're going to miss him. A guy that an all-state linebacker at KC Piper. Calling the shots. He's kind of our Dick Butkus, there on that side, and just always set the tone. Had one of the biggest plays of the year. If we wouldn't have the fake field goal, arguably the block field goal, and I don't know where he found the speed to run it in for the touchdown. And so that was huge. Jackson Parrish as a strong safety on the other side of Houston. Just his physicality won the Big Hit Award for the skill players. So I'm remiss because I'm sure I've forgotten somebody, but those are just, the names go on. And then, we got a strong host of juniors that are going to be seniors now that these guys have set us a great example for, and put a blueprint together that we want to try to go do this again.
That's right. But before we turn that page, I want to get caught up with the kids. I know Andrew's going to Eastern Michigan, and if you guys haven't made a decision yet, just tell me. Start with Houston. If no decision's been made yet, what are some of the schools that you're looking at? If you can give us a short list for what's next.
I've been talking to Valparaiso University a lot, and I like it there. Coaches are really good. Indiana Wesleyan, Adrian, and then I would kind of look at opportunity to maybe walk on somewhere bigger, just see what I could get. And UIndy's talked to me a lot. going on visit there and had a PWO offer. But I don't know. I'm still undecided. I mean, it's a hard decision, but I'm still looking into pretty much all my options, and then I'd be open to trying to walk on or do something at maybe a little bit of a bigger school. But
I like that. I know I seen Valparaiso. You see my tweet. I was like, man, Valpo love Fort Wayne. They love
yeah,
our area, man. I think L. Taylor from Lures
Mhm.
is going there. I know they offered Riley Biddle.
The
Offered a
Leo
couple.
running back, he's
Yep,
committed.
Nathan Foster's going
Yeah,
there.
Nathan
So
Foster.
man, they love our area. So Lucas, I know you've been seeing me lobby for you all over Twitter, man. I've been trying to help you out. You deserve it. You're one of the best kickers in the state, and I think you deserve much more recognition than you've been getting. So, what about you, man? Where are you at with it?
Yeah, so from offers right now, I have St. Francis, Ave Maria, Tiffin, UND, and I believe one more. And then so from those four, I don't really have a preference yet. I'm going movie for UND and Saginaw Valley.
Okay.
Jackson State's been really interested. Coastal Carolina's been here and there. Just like a lot of just like reaching out from other schools, but I'm still open to all my options, and I kind of am just waiting for like an opportunity at the FBS level. Obviously, it doesn't happen. Definitely looking at Saginaw and Jackson State.
Yeah. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Baltimore Ravens need a kicker. I think you could have made. I think. Hey, look, I was like, hey, Lucas could have made both of those. So I'm just saying. So yeah, all seriousness though, Lucas, definitely looking forward to where you go. Like I said, speak very highly of all you guys. That's why I asked you guys to come on. You guys are all great kids and great football players. Andrew, what was right about Eastern Michigan for you? Because you didn't even wait until senior season started. This summer, you're like, I already know where I'm going. What made Eastern Michigan the right choice?
Yeah. I just like the coaches a lot. The O-line coach, he's been everywhere. He's been like NFL teams and Temple and just a bunch of places. I really liked him. And then I was on the visit. I liked the other linemen there, and I liked some of one of the running backs that committed there too. And I just thought everything was super nice there, and it just felt right.
No, it's good. That's good to hear. Coach, last one from me. I mean, you mentioned, got a bunch of juniors coming up, and you're going to open the, 2026 team with the same team that you just saw twice this past year. What is something that people should, look forward to coming up this fall out at Shields Field?
Well, I think much of the same. These three guys and all the guys we just talked about, this senior class has done an incredible job of reinstating so many program components, how they went about their business, the sacrifices they made, who they are. We talk about that a lot, who they are before what they do. And if it's any testimony, we got some different things that are coming up, different trainings and academies around the area here in Fort Wayne. And we're rounding one up here at OPS, and just leaving the office today, we got over 30 guys signed up for it. And that's here it is, January 7th, and they're already getting ready. We hit the weight room on Monday, and that's again a testimony of these guys. They've kind of set that course for them and aligned that blueprint, that they can follow. So there's a lot of names there. That's not what today's show's about, but those guys learned a lot from these three and so many of the others that we've mentioned. We're very hopeful. And that first game, Ron Colley comes up to us. We renewed it again for another 2 years after that. So, there's, again, back to the process, we're not concerned with outcomes. We play the best teams we can and get these guys ready so that when it's 29-29 with 9 minutes to go, we can call the play and they execute it, and they don't flinch when they're on the 5-yard line, ready to tie it up with no time on the clock. But we just roll, and that's a great blessing, and that's why myself personally, our program, our school, to these three guys, to our senior class this year, everybody's indebted to the example that they've set and all that they've done for us to keep the great traditions of Bishop Winger football going forward.
All right, DC, you got anything else, bud?
I just wanted to give the players the floor one more time if they wanted to give any shout outs to any family members, anybody that may be watching this. You know, a lot of people paved the way for you guys to be student athletes and make a lot of sacrifices. So if they wanted to give any shout outs or anything, you guys got the floor.
I like to shout out the alumni for like the Saints Gridiron Foundation and like all they've done for us, and then our moms for making our meals before games and like spaghetti nights and all that stuff for like our pasta dinners, and then obviously all of our coaches, starting with Coach Garrett, just like motivating us, believing in us since day one, and getting us to get a blue ring. Couldn't have done without them.
Yeah, I just want to thank the whole Dwenger community. I mean, there's not a community like this, especially at the high school level. Like, I've even seen all these college visits. I haven't seen a community as great as this one. So it's just awesome to be leaving Dwenger, leaving a mark there. And I'm just blessed for like the 4 years here. I couldn't have done it any other place.
Yeah, it's just not possible without all the help from the captain's moms, and then all the moms, obviously. All the coaches, too. They put in a lot of work. I know all the offensive and defensive coaches, like coordinators, do with all the installs and whatnot. It just wouldn't have been possible without them.
Well, we thank you guys so much for hopping on here. We can't thank you enough, and congrats on a great season in 2025. We look forward to seeing you guys, especially you guys, at the athletes. Looking forward to you guys and following your careers once you guys move on to the next level. We look forward to seeing the same, attitude and physicality and style of play out of you guys, Coach Garrett, coming up this next year. And we thank you guys for coming on today.
I
Thank
just
you.
want to say thank you to you guys.
Thank
Thank you, Brice, DC. Always love seeing you, man, and appreciate your coverage. Means a lot to Dwenger football and our program. To have guys like you that support us. So thank you guys for all you do.
Hey, it always feels good, after working all week, I get to see you on the sideline and mess with you a little bit before the game. It always makes my Friday night a whole lot more fun. And you'll see me next year, so I'll see
You're
you
always
again.
welcome.
So,
You're
all right,
always welcome. Yeah.
Thank
Thanks to Coach Garrett, Houston, Andrew, Lucas for joining us here on the show. And man, a lot of great insight there, DC, from the Saints. And something tells me that the Saints are going to be pretty successful moving forward because they have a lot of guys coming back as well, and I think that it's just going to continue to roll for the Saints because they've been doing it. I know they struggled these last couple of years, but that senior class was pretty good this year, pretty special.
Absolutely. And got a quick comment right here. Buddy Rick, good interview with the boys. Can't wait for August to get here and run it back. Hey, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. Losing a lot. But if anybody can replace, what's been going on in that program, it's Coach Garrett and his staff, man. Definitely look forward to doing that one. But it's going to be a whole lot different look next season in high school football. A lot of these programs that had great years this year lose a lot. And Dwenger's one of them. Those three guys, in addition to AJ Shefferly, their quarterback, they're going to have a new quarterback. Tommy Kaufman is probably going to be in the running for that quarterback position. And they got a new transfer in Knox Johnson, who was the backup quarterback for Bishop Lures this past season. He is enrolled at Bishop Dwenger according to Blitz and OutsideTheHuddle.net. He is enrolled at Dwenger now. So we'll see how Dwenger runs it back, man. You know how, that we talked transfer portal earlier in college football. So you never know what it could be in high school football either.
Yeah, I know. And there's, transfers isn't anything new. We've had transfers going on for quite some time. It just feels like it's now more out in the open, and you're allowed to transfer at least once, so, but the high school football season doesn't stop. You're going to be at an event, this weekend, right? Today, aren't you?
Yeah, today, literally right when we get off here.
Yeah.
My son Quincy he's one of the people, the OPS workouts that Coach Garrett mentioned in the interview. My son Quincy is going to be, learning with the middle schoolers because he'll be in high school next year. So he'll be with the middle school group, working with them. And then the high school group is after them. Skill players will be after them. So I can see all the quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, and things like that. So I'll be at an OPS covering the event for OutsideTheHuddle.net. So I will have we'll have some stuff at OutsideTheHuddle.net recapping the event. So yeah, definitely going to be more active in the high school sports scene as well coming up next season.
Yeah, I mean, you were pretty active this past season. I mean, you're out at a game on Friday night for high school basketball. I mean, so
Yeah.
and I'm excited to get back into it as well.
Yeah, brother.
And I think that once the high school,
Oh yeah.
sports and especially football, I'm gonna try to get out to some basketball games. There's a couple that have piqued my interest. Because I was interested in that Homestead Southside game, because it was definitely, like you said, it might decide who wins the SAC. And there's a lot of other good teams, not just in and around Fort Wayne, but throughout the state as well. There's a lot of teams that are down around Indy that have some high level Division I talent. So I think we specialize here in Northeast Indiana, but we'd love to touch on the rest of the state as well. So
yeah, I mean, we had Miles McLaughlin in our first interview on our show, so that tells you everything. Knox ain't exactly down the street. But we definitely, especially with my gig with Indiana Preps, man, it's really helped me branch out a little bit, getting the connection with Miles and other players. Jet Goldsberry is another guy I'd really love to get on. He just took his, welcoming committee down to Purdue as he is a Boilermaker. So Boiler up. Jet Goldsberry, who was also, I think he was runner-up for Mr. Football behind Miles McLaughlin. So, yeah, man, our state definitely in football and basketball is as great as it's ever been. So definitely looking forward to doing more.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's I think sometimes it goes, you can say it's underrated in some certain areas. I mean, I know Indy gets a lot of love. Fort Wayne, I think, is probably right there behind them, and then places like the region, in southern Indiana. There's some different pockets that have are always producing talent that are playing at the next level. So definitely want to highlight as many people as we possibly can here on the show. That's what the show is about. So, you want to move on to some NFL? I know you're itching.
Yeah, we could touch on some. We have to, man. Like, come on now.
I mean,
we ain't got no Colts to talk about, so
yeah. And my team just got eliminated last night, so
they did. Chicago Bears, man. I know. I was gonna start the show with that. I was gonna see how you were feeling, man. I know it doesn't feel good losing in a playoff game, first of all, but losing to the Bears too.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we did the show today. I thought you would have called off and had someone fill in for you because I'd be a little upset. But my team's in a bye week because we're not bums. So we get a bye week and just get to chill while everybody else beats up on each other. So we wait on everyone else to beat up on each other, and my Denver Broncos will wait their turn for next week. But how you feeling this morning, man? The Packers lost.
Your time will come. Your team
next season.
Next season. I don't think your Broncos are going to do very much of anything in the playoffs.
Wow.
So I know they're the number one seed, but they might be the most fraudulent number one seed in the NFL. So I just need to get some shots. Because I just need to get some shots in because you know what? I'm just angry because of what happened last night. And
you were up what 27-6 in the fourth quarter?
No, I don't think it was that. I know they were up, quite a bit, but
21-6.
Yeah, 21-6.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, but still after
bad. Fourth quarter,
you could just tell that. And I'm not saying I hope Matt LaFleur gets fired, but
whoa.
Yeah, I mean, have you not watched this season? Like that it's time after time. This team just goes this team plays Mario Cristobal football in the second half. They'll get up by a couple of scores, and then they just go ultra conservative and just let teams get back into this. This defense was on the field, just running around, chasing around Caleb Williams. And I know they don't have Micah Parsons. I know they don't have their best offensive lineman. They don't have their best tight end, Tucker Kraft. So this team was beat up with injuries. I wasn't expecting the Packers to make it to the Super Bowl or to win the Super Bowl. But when you lose to the damn Bears in the fashion that you did, it's upsetting because you're feeling good at halftime. You're like, we got this in the bag. I want to just wait to see some Bears fans walk out of that crappy stadium, and it just never happened. It never happened because this team went into a shell. Matt LaFleur forgot how to call plays for half an hour, and when he finally got out of his rear end, they were able to finally lead a touchdown drive. But then, of course, the kicker can't make anything else. Can't make a field goal, misses an extra point. So, yeah, I'm a little upset. And, I was
can
feeling
tell.
much better. I was feeling like, okay, I had forgotten about it, but now that we're, opening these wounds again, I'm still pretty upset. And I'd like to see some change in Green Bay.
Okay. I think we'll check back in with you next week and see how you're feeling when it's not so fresh. See if you still feel that way. Are you wanting Harbaugh? Like, what are you expecting here?
Somebody else.
Anyone else? So you're just going to accept
anyone
anyone? It's to that point. You're just anyone else.
I'll take Kurt Signetti.
I'm not even. You're trying to get me riled up again. I'm not letting it happen. I'm not letting it happen.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm just trying to deflect.
This is a new
off
me.
My anger.
This is the new me. Okay, I'm turning over a new leaf.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you get me riled up like you used to. But that was close.
No, come on.
So you're gonna fire a coach and just hope that Signetti wants to leave IU? That's your plan?
Yeah.
That. Wow. All right. Cool. So yeah, you already know how I feel though about firing head coaches. If you don't have another one, that's better. And to me, there's not a better one out there.
Okay, there's so many guys that are better than what we got right now.
Okay, Harbaugh.
That
are available.
If they fire LaFleur today, you don't think that they're going to call Harbaugh? He hasn't signed with anybody yet.
No, I gave you Harbaugh. I gave you one. But other than him,
yeah. Okay,
they're going to fire a coach and just throw all the eggs in one basket. All right, give me Harbaugh, like it's a done deal. That's not no. That's not how it works. It's not that simple.
No,
it's not going to happen.
You need a new voice in there. You need a new voice,
I suppose. Rick doesn't believe in his Niners either. Don't have much faith in my Niners, but we'll see what happens. Defense decimated with injuries. No injuries as an excuse, Rick. Come on, man. Everyone's banged up. It's the playoffs. There's like 20 weeks of football now. It's like, come on, man. It's too many. Everybody's banged up. I don't want to hear no excuses, man. My Broncos are banged up, and look at them. When you guys get to my Broncos level, let me know. That's all I got to say.
Which team from the AFC do you want to face? I think there's only like
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I
don't fear any of them.
Oh,
I mean, let's be real.
Okay.
If you're Broncos, are you scared of any of those teams? Anybody in the AFC? Now in the NFC, yes.
Houston's
NFC,
hot,
I look at the
hot,
NFC. The Texans.
Yeah, they're hot.
The Texans.
All
right.
Hot.
What are we doing here? All right. When I look at the NFC, yes, there's some scary teams over there that I don't like. To be completely honest, I don't even want to face the 49ers. And they're not, the 49ers aren't even a top team in the NFC. If I look at the NFC and who I'm picking to come out of there, but I don't want to face them. The NFC to me is just so much better. And that's just a personal opinion of mine. In terms of like Super Bowl, I look at the NFC and I see multiple teams that could win it. But the AFC, I look at, Steelers. Are we kidding? Chargers, just beat them. Literally just beat them. Bills, all right, you got Josh Allen, but Broncos' best defense in the league. Okay, and we got Bo Nix on the other side of the ball. So we got that offset. I mean, who are we? The Patriots? Drake May? We scared of him? He's never even played a playoff game. He's going to fumble in the first game. He's going to fumble.
Josh Allen?
I mean, look, Josh Allen is my guy. He is, that is one of my top quarterbacks in the league. He's one of my favorites, but I don't fear him. I don't fear that team. I fear him, but I don't fear that team. I just don't.
Sense.
The AFC, I don't see a team in the AFC that's that scary to me. But the NFC is where I would get nervous because the NFC is stacked to me. Honestly, I don't want to face the Bears. Like you just said the Texans were hot. Who's hotter than the Bears right now?
No, come on. I mean, I would I would have much more confidence in the Texans because of their defense. I think their defense is so much better than what the Bears offer. So
It is, but the Bears are more balanced than the Texans. Texans defense is great, and they got C.J. Stroud. He has no weapons.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud is that entire offense. Bears got
Fair.
weapons. They got a good quarterback and a decent defense. More balanced. I would rather face the Texans. But yeah, NFC to me is stacked, brother. I know you're a little sour with the loss, but looking at that NFC, bro, there's so many teams out there that I could pick winning the Super Bowl. I mean, I honestly could see any of them. Like the NFC to me is just so much better. Like, it's just and obviously I'm not. Don't get me started on the Panthers though. There's no reason why that should be a playoff team. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We got to do something. NFL has to do something. That is not a playoff team. So
Yeah, it's been happening for a while though. You know, when
we
you
gotta,
include, yes, it has the Seahawks.
I know.
They were,
Yeah. I'm
like,
just saying, like,
yeah.
but this is the worst.
No, I get
ever.
it, but when you expand the playoffs, you're going to allow, teams like this, and if you're not, just gonna go by the best record, and you're allowing, division winners in there, which, you can make the case for it or not. But then if we're not gonna do that, if we're not gonna allow division winners, then what are divisions? What are you playing for?
True.
You're gonna have to redo the schedule or reshape the whole league, and I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, unless there's some really, some bickering and some coaching and all those owners meetings that they have. If that starts to become a more prominent topic, then yeah, I'll take it seriously. But I don't think it's ever going to get that far, at least not right now. So
three games today, brother. Bills, Jaguars. Who you got? Bills, Jags.
Give me the Bills.
Yeah, same.
I don't trust the Jags.
I don't either. Too early, too soon. The Fighting Ricks, the 49ers. Man, I miss saying that. The Fighting Ricks, 49ers, and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Give me the Eagles.
Man, I want to be different, but man, I can't pick the 49ers over the Eagles. All right, I got the Eagles. Last game, I think it's Patriots Chargers, right?
Yeah, the Texans and Steelers are tomorrow.
We'll stick with Chargers Patriots.
Give me the Chargers. Give me the Chargers. Okay. I think I'm not super happy that Justin Herbert in a playoff game, he's been in this spot before and not been super great. So, but like you said, Drake May is in his first experience playoff game with this, but they've played a lot of close games. So we'll see. I'm going to go Chargers in this one.
I'm going Patriots. I think they win this game, but after that, that's it. That's going to be their achievement for this year. They win a playoff game for the first time since Tom Brady. It's time to get away from that Tom Brady era, get away from that, and I think they do that with the Patriots victory. So you mentioned it, Texans, Steelers tomorrow, Monday night football. Who you got?
It feels weird to have a Monday night football game in the playoffs.
It does. In a playoff? Yeah.
In the playoff, yeah. I mean, if you're whoever wins that game, you're on shorter rest. Yep. And I think they'll have to move. They'll probably have to play Sunday the following week just to allow for them. They wouldn't make them play Saturday, but who knows? The NFL has done crazier things. But I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the Texans. I hyped them up, so I think they're gonna get after Aaron Rodgers, and he's gonna limp around and try to get out of stuff. And they're just
the way you were talking about him, I'm surprised that they're not a bye. The way you were talking about them, they should have a first round bye.
They should have.
And I mean, we're talking Super Bowl with this Texans team, according to Brice. Absolutely not. They lose first round, divisional round against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers win. Texans ain't ready. Aaron Rodgers has been there, done that. And he's going out with a bang, man. I got Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers walking away with that victory. So we did differ on a couple, but NFL playoffs, man, I'm looking forward to it. This is the first time where it feels more wide open than usual. Yeah. It feels like it's been Chiefs for so long and then Buccaneers. Just like, just give me something different. And I think this year we're going to get something different. And that's all that matters to me. I'm a guy, I love parity. And it feels a lot better, too, that my team is involved. Unfortunately for you, yours isn't. So I'm sorry.
They were involved, but like I said, I had no faith that they would do anything. But
I
just
thought they would at least beat the Bears.
that's the thing that stings is you lose to the most hated rival in that fashion, especially, and it feels like you should have ran away with that game, and you fall on your fall flat on your face. So
Yeah. So, of course, next week we'll have one more show before the college football championship, Miami and IU. So we'll be joined by a guest there as well. We've been hitting it. We've been hitting it out of the park with the guests. So we're gonna keep swinging and try to get another big one next week to preview the college football championship. Somebody that like Brice said earlier, that has boots down in Miami, Florida for the championship. So hopefully IU fans pack it down in Miami like they did for the game against Oregon. That was crazy.
Yeah, but have you seen the tickets to get into the game in Miami? Like the cheapest ticket is like $4,000.
I'm sorry?
It's 4,000. 4,000.
You sure it wasn't 400?
No, 4,000 is
for
like
a nosebleed.
Cheapest. For a nosebleed. There's standing room only tickets that are going for 12,000.
Hold on. There's no way. Hold on. There's no way.
I mean, I know we don't have
That's
we don't have like
insane.
a ticket sponsor, and we'd be glad to take one, but
That's
to
insane.
offer like a promo
no
code
way.
or something, but it's
you can't even Klarna a $4,000 ticket. Like you can't even split it up. Like what? I mean, you know what kind of credit you have to Klarna a $4,000 ticket to a game? That's crazy, brother.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
wow.
It's insane.
Brice is correct. Wow.
Yeah.
Cheapest ticket. It's $4,100.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
For a nosebleed ticket to the college football championship. I mean, look, if you can afford $4,000 and for a nosebleed ticket, I will be taking any credit advice from you. Look, you will become my new banker.
Yeah.
Because even if I had $4,000, like I'm not getting a nosebleed. Like if I pay $4,000, I better at least be midfield.
Yeah.
Like better get to meet someone too. Like $4,000, like I better get to meet Signetti or something. That's crazy. $4,000 just to say you went, take a picture from the top of the arena. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's not happening.
It's crazy, but like DC said, we'll talk about it a lot in full depth. You know, we'll probably spend a good chunk of the show talking about Indiana, Miami. We'll have some guests on as well, and I think a lot of people are, especially around here, are excited about the game, and more NFL, that'll happen next week as well, and we'll try to get some big guests. I mean, I know like you give people a peek behind the curtain here. We've efforted for some big names, and we're working at it. We'll get them. We'll get some, and you guys will be excited to hear their perspective as well. So we're going to keep growing this thing. So make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on social. We're everywhere, like the graphic says, at Brice and DC. So make sure you follow us and hit the subscribe just so we can keep growing the show and get our faces in front of more people and have more interaction on the show. Thank you guys to all who participated in the chat today. We definitely appreciate it, and have more loyal listeners like our loyal listener, Rick. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks to the guest today, Coach Shepard, who started the show off with a bang. Had us motivated. I mean, that was the best start to a show we've had, since our first show, so
he was right on time. Like I always love when we book a guest and they're 100% on time. Now, we started the show at 11. He was on, ready to go at 11 on the dot.
Right.
And it's not even, he's 3 hours behind or 2 hours behind? 3 hours behind.
Yeah.
So it's 8:00 in the morning for him, and he's ready to roll. Right at 8 for him, 11 for us, ready to roll, and brought the energy, man. Even challenged me to a food eating contest, which is, I don't know how smart that is. I can eat. But I really enjoyed having Coach starting off the show. He gave us woke us up too, gave us energy for the rest of the show.
Yeah, for sure. And I loved a lot of his answers. Probably if you're a late listener here on the show, we'll share some clips, or you can just go back and start the episode over again. And or if you want to check it out on the podcast on Spotify or on Apple as well.
Yeah.
Thanks
Shout
to
out everybody on Facebook. Everybody
Yeah.
on Facebook too watching. I know. So we can't stream live on our Facebook, our Brice and DC Facebook page yet, because our page has to be active for 90 days.
I thought it was like either 60 or 90. So we'll
60
get
or
there.
90 days. So once we hit our 60 or 90 day mark, whatever it is, we will be able to stream live on there, and then your comments will be able to be shown. But it streams on my personal Facebook page, which is private. So all the comments that go to my Facebook, I have to just read them. I can't show them on the screen because it's private. But I do want to give a quick shout out, Eric Fuller, a buddy of mine, watching this too. Watching this, he's an Eagles fan, so rolling with the Eagles. That's another team where it's hard to pick against them, man. I could see them running it back. I really could. So it's wide open in the NFL, but there are definitely some favorites. But thanks everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, and X. All of you. Appreciate all of you guys. Without you, the show wouldn't happen. And well, it would probably happen, but it's a lot more fun when you do tune in and chime in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank all y'all, man.
Yeah, definitely. And thanks to our partners at the Get In Indiana, and make sure you check out getindiana.com. If you want to just hear more about the state, they do a lot of great things. They're highlighting small towns in Indiana. I know they're currently trying to visit 1,000 towns in Indiana. So they're doing a lot of great things. Nate Spangle over there, who's also a DePaul grad, so he'll be excited to hear from Coach Shepard, the interview that we had with him today. So thanks to being for allowing us to be on the Get In network, and make sure you check out their podcast as well as a couple of other podcasts that they have on their network. Thank you so much for that, highlighting a lot of great things here in Indiana. And again, thanks to the Bishop Dwenger crew, Lucas, Houston, Andrew, and Coach Garrett. Hope to talk more about the Saints coming up in the 2026 season. DC's got to get out to some more football coverage, and we got to get busy posting the show in other platforms as well. So, but thank you guys so much for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Peace and love.